Every year in September or the early weeks of October, every pastor is obligated to give a financial report of the parish to his people. None of us like having to do that. I'd rather just talk about the gospel. But it is my obligation because every week you very generously give to the offertory collection and in so many other ways. And you have a right to know exactly where we stand financially. And so tonight I'm just going to highlight, there's a copy of the finance report in the parish bulletin this weekend. So you can look at it if you want while I'm talking, or certainly take it home and read it over. If you're like me, it raises questions. What does this mean? What does that mean? And I went over most of it with our finance council and got some answers for myself, but I still don't understand everything, I'll be honest with you. But the point is that first of all, I have to just say thank you. I can't say it more forcefully. You have been so generous to the parish in the 6 years that I have been here. When I became the pastor 6 years ago, the diocese gave me a check for $35,000. They said that was the amount of money that was in the checking account when the parish closed. So I started out and I remember driving home with that check and thinking, how in the world am I going to run a parish with $35,000? Well, after the opening mass, we had almost that much more. And I realized that the people love this parish and they will give generously. And that's what happened. When you see now that in June 30th, we had $200,000 in money in the bank in one way or another. We've come such a long way, and it's because of your generosity. I'd like to point out a few things. First of all, there was $30,000 donated to the church renovation fund within the last year or more. And this past year, I did not use any of it for the church. We've spent money in here, but I didn't have to use that fund because I'm saving it for some real major expenses to the church. But that's in the finance report. You'll notice that last year we had, at the end of the year, we had $8,782, and our bills were all paid. This year, we have $40,870 with our bills all paid. That's good. But one of the reasons is that we sold that little house. There's 2 houses we own next to the school building, and we sold that little house for $56,000. And so that's where we get this extra money coming in. If we hadn't sold that house, we would have been $15,000 in the red. So we have to keep that in mind. The offertory collection was $4,000 less this year than last year. I'm trying to figure out why that could have been. And I realized that I think Maureen said we had 50 funerals, 60 funerals. So if all those many people who passed away are no longer contributing to the parish, that certainly could account for $4,000, I think, because many people give even $1,000 a year. And so that could be the reason. But I'd ask you to consider, your offertory collection. I know I'm considering mine, and I'm realizing it's been over 1.5 years since I raised the amount that I give. And so I'm going to start doing that right away to give more in the collection. If everybody just raises it a little bit, we'll probably get ahead of ourselves pretty quick. But then the fact is that a lot of good things have happened from rentals. Up in the steeple, we rent that to AT&T for a computer tower, and we get $1,700 a month from them in rent, and that's a great help. Constellation Schools, which now occupies the main building and the second floor of the primary building, are giving us $10,000 a month in rental. And the Center for Sober Living is giving us $1,900 in rental. In addition to that, they are paying all the utility bills in those buildings, and 80% of the utility bills in the primary school building, because we use it as a parish for 20%. And so that's eliminating all those utility bills, which is a huge amount of money. You'll see on the report that ended this year with 43,000 in rental receipts. By this time next year, we should have $177,000 in rental receipts. That's a major income, and it shows how valuable it has been to rent those buildings out. And we're expecting in the near future, we have a signed agreement, the bishop has signed it, to sell the old school building to Constellation Schools. And if we do, that will be a huge, huge income for the parish. 50% of that will go towards the $1 million that we owe to the parish. And I was talking to the bishop Monday morning about that money that we owe. I'm not going to get into that now, what I think, but I have my opinions. So I'm sure I'll carry those same opinions with me to the bishop from you. But that's hanging over our head. So it's looking very good. I think that the amount, rectory and household went down from $7,300 to $6,140. Now that doesn't mean that I eat $6,000 worth of food. That money is also included in that is paper towels and dishwasher fluid and all that kind of stuff that you have to buy all the time. So I have been trying to eating less though. And then what's the other thing here? Salaries and benefits and taxes went from $209,000 last year, the year before, 2017, to $156,000. And that was because I eliminated 3 positions, 3 employees that we had. I eliminated their positions, and so we don't have to pay those salaries and benefits anymore. It just means that Maureen and I have to work a lot harder. So now we have Maureen and myself, Ron Klipchak and Bob Varga are all my staff, 4 people, and my sister Joni, who works in the rectory. And so they are all part-time, and they work very, very hard, and I'm so grateful. I could not have a better staff of people to do work for me in the house. It's a good house. We all get along very well, and things are looking up. So that's a good thing. And also, you remember that Father Franz was living with me, and I forget now when he left. It's been in the last year, but some of that decrease in cost is because there's only 1 priest living there now, and that'll only go down more. So you can look over all of these figures, and I think we can say that we've been really blessed. I've been praying the novena to Our Lady of the Miraculous Medal every Friday morning for that she would help us in stabilizing the financial base of our parish. And certainly that's come across, and I'm saying thanks to her now. So keep on praying, keep on being as generous as you can. These are the things that we're going to be facing in the near future. The stained glass windows. If you go outside and look at them from the outside, you'll see that much of the wood frames that's holding in the glass is all rotting away. All that has to be repaired, and the plastic coating that's on them, the sheets of plastic that are on them, it's bulletproof plastic, are all deteriorating. One window on this side, it's completely fallen off. So the estimate to repair all the windows, including the major one in the choir loft, is $60,000. And so we're trying to put together the money to do that. The church lighting, thank goodness we just have 1 chandelier out, but they're all going to go, and they have to be replaced. And I'm not sure what the cost is for each one, but replacing those and replacing the wiring are 2 things that we need to do for fire safety, actually, and for better lighting in the church. The other thing is the church foundation, and that's important. We can't build on sand, can we? But the water keeps still seeping in down in the lower church, which still causes mold to grow down there. If you walk down there so many times in these warm days, you can just smell it. So what we have to do is we're going to dig down on both sides of the church all the way to the bottom of the foundation, like you may have had to do in your homes, and they will completely seal the external wall and put in a whole new drainage system for water. Right now, all the water off the cemetery flows into the church building, and that's not good. So we need to avert that. And so I'm getting an estimate on that Monday, so we should find out what that's going to cost us. And then after we do that, we'll be able to put glass block windows in the windows, and we're getting a lot of water from the windows as well. Then we can move forward to really renovate the whole lower church that we can then use as a social hall, and it'll be a fitting place for us to meet for many things. So that's all on the list. And then there's the cemetery. The cemetery and the church are the two most important places we need to concentrate on. The cemetery we have to take care of until the second coming of Christ. So we don't know when that's going to be. But if you go out and take a look, the cemetery needs a lot of work. The fence is just falling apart and so forth. So I have an architect coming up with the drawings about what it could look like and what it would cost, and we'll be moving forward. Less than a year ago, maybe 10 months ago, I opened up a cemetery fund account and intend that to become a fund for the perpetual care of the cemetery. Every cemetery needs one of those. And it's amazing, I never told you that I did that, but every time some money came in, like oftentimes, every time we have a funeral, people make a donation of about $100 to the church. And I put all of that into that fund, and right now I have near $16,000 in there. And some parishioners who heard about my opening it up have made some sizable donations. So I'll just keep you informed on what all that's going to cost us and when we can do it. The organ, Bob Varga is a master musician because he's bringing great music out of that organ, and it's really in bad shape. And so we really have to read that, and that's going to be a costly figure. The parking lot, we're hoping before the weather changes to reseal the parking lot and restripe it so that we get through the winter okay without any big potholes. But probably next year, we may have to totally resurface the parking lot. So those are all big items, but the way things are going and your generosity, it's all going to take place. I'm so grateful for the Garden Club, the Holy Name Society, the Athletic Association, the ladies who clean the church, the people who ran the picnic and the fundraiser for the picnic, and on with so many things that have been a great benefit to the parish. And so we're going to be okay. And also, there's now 7 or 8 men living in the Center for Sober Living just in the last 2 weeks. And every morning, first thing they do after they get up is they come over and they clean up the cemetery. They're picking up, you know, how the debris from the street and everything rolls all over the place and it looks awful. Every single morning they're going to clean that up. And then this week they started to cut the grass and to trim around the gravestones at no charge to us. It's part of their program of taking responsibility. And so that's been a big blessing for us and will continue to be. So I don't want to go on too much longer. Just want to give you the parameters of where we're at. I'm real confident that everything's going to work out. When we're doing what's right, God blesses it. And I'm confident that he'll continue to bless St. Patrick Parish and all that we do. In order to function as a parish, we need the church, we need the lower church, we need Thorpe Hall, we need those places. And so we'll continue to do our best to keep them up. And it's good stewardship to take care of the things that we own. And we do it for the love of God. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. I'm so blessed with a finance council that are very knowledgeable and very, very helpful in guiding me along financial things. The only course in economics that I ever had in my life was in my senior year of high school. And that didn't have anything to do with running a parish. So it's just been a lot of common sense, and I thank you that we're doing so well.